Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a great weekend. Excited to get started with you here today on our Saturday show, our Cabral HouseCall. We have 2 Cabral HouseCalls each and every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. Hopefully, you've been tuning in now for a few years, but if you haven't, we like to break up the week here, and the weekends are dedicated to answering our community's questions. So always excited, as I say, to open up this giant spreadsheet of questions. And these questions are actually coming in from April 18th. So we answer all the questions in the order that they come in. April 18th is first up today. The first one's from Christina. And let's see, today's show is debuting on June 13th. So April, May, June 12th, I should say, is today's date. So we're getting more towards the 8-week mark. What does that mean? It means more people are writing in with more questions. So whenever we have more people write in, we get more questions. It takes a little bit longer to answer yours, but just keep in mind, I will answer every single question that gets sent in to me. It just, again, depends on the timeline of questions that get written in. I answer 6 questions on Saturday and 6 questions on Sunday. Now, you don't have to wait for 6 to 8 weeks to get your question answered. You can write in your question at cabralsupportgroup.com and get pretty much same-day answers from our health coach team and the community of over 11,000 people, probably closer to 12,000 now, right there. Great, amazing community from around the world, global-based community. And if it's a customer service question, well, the best way to get that answered is just to write in at support@equa.life. That's it. All right, let's get into your questions right now. So first one's from Christina. Christina says, "Hey, Dr. Barral, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I've been suffering with chronic thrush." Well, I definitely answered that one just last week. So let's move on to the next question. I'm glad we were able to answer that question for you, though, of course, last week. So the next question is from Victor. Victor says, "Would you recommend an under-desk treadmill? I spend so many hours sitting down because of work and was thinking setting out my office in a way that I could walk on a treadmill while working. And no, this is not a replacement for my workouts or outdoor walking. It's just that sometimes I find it hard to get my 10,000 steps daily. I feel like I get a lot in the morning, walk to and from the gym and back, but that's around 7,000 steps. Then sometimes I don't have time to leave the house for another walk because I'm super busy with work. Hence, was thinking the under-desk treadmill." Yes, this is a great idea, Victor. And it's something that I've actually recommended to one of my clients. I have certain biohacking clients. These clients are people that love to just say, like, what's the new latest and greatest? What's the latest fitness tracker? What should I be using? And believe it or not, they make under-desk treadmills that are basically portable. They have wheels and you can just pick them up and move them around, and they don't cost as much. And the reason they don't cost as much is that it's not going to be this massive impact of running. It's just for walking. So these are really great. Again, you can do a Google search. You can find under-desk treadmill. Really inexpensive. They make some desks built in with a treadmill. I don't think you even need to go that far. You can just get one just meant for walking. It's only a couple feet wide. It's lighter weight. Again, you can't run on it because it's meant for low impact, but it's a great way to get in your steps. You know that I'm not a huge advocate of standing desks if you end up locking out your knees or not moving your body or shifting all your weight onto one side. I've seen it really lead to some issues with posture, meaning like if you're standing up properly and you're using good proper posture and your breathing technique is proper and you're kind of moving your feet a bit, maybe using a gravity mat under your feet, okay, then great. No issues at all. But most people aren't. So I like the idea of sitting on a stability ball, getting up at least once an hour to move around. And if you want, getting an under-desk Treadmill, where for you, all you would need to do is walk on it for 30 minutes total, maybe 10 minutes after each meal at your desk or whatever it might be, and you'll get another 3,000 steps. Remember, you do about 1,000 steps in 10 minutes. So, Victor, I think it's a good idea. Give it a shot. No doubt about it. All right, Thomas is up next. Hey, Dr. Barral, thank you for the endless wisdom and the many years you've added onto my life. Well, thank you, Thomas. It's great to hear. I wanted to ask you about broccoli sprouts. I know they are full of sulforafane, so I grow my own in a jar and put a dense handful into my morning smoothies. Do you grow and or use them? Sometimes they smell pungent, so it's hard to tell if it's the beneficial sulforafane or something bad like mold. I try to err on the safe side, so wanted to see your pros or cons and what would they be? Thanks. Okay, so definitely can answer this for you. I grow and have grown sprouts many, many times. All sorts, like mung bean sprouts are some of my favorite, sunflower sprouts, just tons, like microgreens I'll grow, sulforafane, or not sulforafane, but broccoli sprouts. So here's the thing that I've realized. If you grow them in a jar and there's a lot of moisture, they can start to develop with a lot of bacteria. So if it's possible to grow them in the open air, maybe even near a window that you can keep open, it's a lot healthier for your sprouts and for you as well. I can't tell you if it's mold or bacterial buildup, but it certainly could be sitting in a jar that doesn't get enough airflow. So do keep that in mind. Now, there's a difference though. Pungent, where it actually smells bad, don't eat them. Like honestly, don't take that chance because there can be some serious bacteria growing. But sulforafane, and I don't want to say sulforafane, but microgreens and sprouts in general can actually smell a little bitter. They have almost like a little bitter smell to them because they are. Like that's what they are. In Ayurveda, they always said the quote, and I love, I always go back when I hear this quote to Dr. Pete, my mentor, and she heard it from Dr. Vasant Lad. And he always said in Ayurveda, they say bitter is better. Bitter is better. Because bitter is very bitter for the body and detoxifying in its own right, which of course now we know in modern day science. Why are all these greens so great for us? Well, many of them contain something like sulforafane, which is great for phase 2 detox. So yes, I do grow my own sometimes with my daughters and my wife, something we do more towards the spring and summer, early fall. And then, of course, sometimes I buy them as well. If I store them in the fridge, I put a paper towel in there, in the bag, and the paper towel absorbs the moisture. Remember, it's the moisture that can lead to the mold and a lot of the bacterial buildup. So that's what I do. All right, Katie's up next. Hi, Dr. Barral. I'm wondering your advice for someone who has done gut healing but still experiences allergy symptoms. I've worked with your team for about 3 years now and have done the CBO protocol once, mold protocols, other imbalances. Let me just see what the issue is. However, I do still experience asthma allergy symptoms in the form of sinus headaches, migraines, and breathing troubles. The breathing troubles are not just standard asthma attacks, but what can I best describe as sniffing for air? A sensation I'm not getting enough air in easily through the nose. So it's as if I gasp for air through the nostrils. Often my throat and tongue muscles feel tense as well. I'm currently on Singulair, and apologies if it's pronounced incorrectly, but Zyzal, plus Hispro and other allergy teas and tinctures. But I can't seem to totally kick my allergies. What recommended next steps would you take if you're in my shoes? Okay, great question. I was in your shoes. Keep that in mind. I literally couldn't leave my house for the month of April. I know that seems dramatic, but it's still true. And I was taking, what was I taking? Zyrtec. I was taking Allegra. I was taking 50 milligrams of Benadryl 6 times a day and still had debilitating allergies. If you've never experienced allergies, it is awful. You're exhausted. You're tired. You're moody. My eyes would be swollen shut. They'd be scratched from being so dry and itchy. My eyes would be running. My nose would be running. It was miserable, literally miserable. So how did I fix it? Well, you're absolutely right. I worked on my gut. That was such a big part of it. Food sensitivities, Candida overgrowth, H. pylori, and SIBO. That's what I had to deal with. Now, you said you've done that. Great. Good. That's what you want to do. Now, the next step is getting that immune system back in balance because most likely you're Th2 dominant. Again, have to give the disclaimer, no medical advice, no medical treatment protocols, no cures, and no diagnosis on the podcast. So just saying, it sounds like you might be someone that's Th2 dominant. I have a podcast on this. It also sounds like you're someone that is potentially stressed, and that stress pushes you further into Th2 dominance. You can't sleep as well, you don't recover, you don't get enough deep sleep, REM sleep, and those passageways can actually become smaller because of inflammation. So it's harder to get air in. But also when you're in the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, you can't take in enough air and you can't release enough air because you're so tense. And it does sound like you are very, very tense. So the problem is this, singular, well, I don't know if it's singular, but some allergy medications contain ephedrine or pseudoephedrine that push you more to the sympathetic nervous system. So it's this strange thing. It's like, how do you heal and get your body out of that sympathetic nervous system when your body's being pushed in the sympathetic nervous system? So that's what we need to work on. And again, I do recommend working with a practitioner that can help you on a month in and month out basis on this. You can always work with our team over at equa.life, or just go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org and click on the practitioners tab. There are thousands of practitioners that can help you with this. That literally work and live all over the world. And if you're going to be running lab testing, definitely choose an IHP level 2. All right, great question though. Katie's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Wondering if you can provide an explanation for feeling a watery mouth, slightly nauseous sensation during late nights or early mornings. I notice if I stay up late, no alcohol, or wake up early before 7 a.m. sometimes, I get this uncomfortable feeling paired with fatigue. Eating sometimes seems to help it, so wonder if it's related to blood sugar. So curious to know your thoughts. Thanks for your help. Yes, I mean, thank you for pointing these things out. That was concise. That was a concise question, and it gave me a lot of content as well. That's how to put that question in there. That's great. So, okay, when I'm first hearing it, I'm like, okay, mouth, slightly nauseous. Okay, this could be food sensitivity. This could be fermenting in the gut. This person's feeling a little bit nauseous. But then you said, no, it's really in the morning or late at night. Okay, that's interesting. Does this have something to do with the turning on or off of the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system? And then you said, it seems to get better with food. Okay, now that's probably it. So we're looking at two scenarios. You already laid out one. One is blood sugar. Is it low blood sugar? When you are hypoglycemic or even low blood pressure, or again, you can be low blood pressure at night or upon waking. If you are, let's just say hypoglycemic, or you have hypotension, low blood sugar, you can be nauseous. You can feel lightheaded. You can feel weak. You can feel tired. Okay, how do we check this? Really simple to narrow this down. Go to stevencabral.com/resources. Click on the glucometer I recommend. You get a glucometer, you test your blood sugar at that time. If it's less than a 75, you could be moving more towards hypoglycemia. Okay, there's your answer. But at the same time, go to stevencabral.com/resources and click on the blood pressure monitor that I recommend. Take your blood pressure as well. If it's below 110, I always say below typically is the lower number, but if it's below 110, over 75, or 75 or less for the bottom diastolic number, systolic 110 or less, diastolic 75 or less, you could be moving more towards hypotension. Could be either one of those. Hypotension, okay, what's going on? Could be adrenals, HPA axis, sodium-potassium balance. Again, when in doubt, run the Big 5 labs over at equa.life, or in this case, at least run the hair tissue mineral analysis, which is the mineral and metals test. Okay, one more though. Tug of war. Parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. You're waking up, cortisol levels aren't responding, or they're responding too rapidly. That's called a cortisol awakening response that is dysregulated. That can make you feel nauseous as well. So what would the lab test be for that? It would be the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism, and that will knock that one off the chart as well. All right, good question. Let's see if we can get another one in here today. We answered Victor's because Christina's was last week. Thomas, Katie again, okay. And we have Erica. So Erica says, hey, Dr. Cabral, I'm not sure if you've answered this before. I couldn't find it online, but I was wondering what your daily eating and supplement routine looks like. What times do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Possibly a juice. What your go-to eating routine looks like. Breakfast, does it equal a smoothie plus oatmeal, lunch, veggies, and lean protein? Foods you eat the most common, etc. Of course, I know everybody is different and responds differently, but it would be cool if you could make an episode on this. I'm happy to do that. I'm definitely going to do one on supplements coming up soon. But I actually I did a podcast called a day in the life of my Mediterranean diet. Let's see. I don't know that I'll be able to find that off the top here. I've got this beautiful spreadsheet that was designed many, many years ago with every single podcast I've ever done. My team does a great job with all of these things. There's been so many podcasts. I can do it. I can do it just like you would do. So let's go to Stephen Cabral. Well, actually, let's just go to Google. Let's just type in Stephen Cabral, and let's type in a day in the life of my diet. I don't even know if that's correct, what the podcast name is. Let's see here, though. All right, a day in the life of my Mediterranean diet. Well, there it is, episode 1551, the second result. All right, so there's my diet. Just go to stephencabral.com/1551. And then I'm definitely going to bring you my daily nutritional supplement plan. But just in short, I'm going to go through it step by step when I take everything. But it's the daily foundational protocol level 3 plus the immunity protocol every day. Now, I add a few more things onto that, like the advanced collagen and other things. But let's just go with daily foundation protocol level 3 and the immunity protocol. And then I'll tell you the other fun add-ins I do after that, all right? And all of those can be found at equi.life. All right, so there, I'm going to answer one more question here today. And the question is from Kelsey. It says, any tips for living with thalassemia, that's my Boston accent coming out, minor. So I've actually answered this question. So if we go to stephencabral.com/podcast, or you can do the whole Google search again, I'm going to give you that exact podcast to make sure that you get your answer. All right, so thalassemia minor. I know for sure that we answered this, so we're going to find it for you right now. All right, we've answered it on episodes 855, 897, and we touched on it as well on episode 1808. All right, so Kelsey, 855, 897, and episode 1808, and it goes over really all the tips that I would give you starting out with thalassemia. For those people that are not familiar with it, really a blood disorder where there's lower levels of hemoglobin in the blood, and oftentimes it can mimic a lot of other types of anemia like low iron or B12, et cetera. So I give you the different items to look for, what the autoimmune issue might be, what the inflammatory issue might be. Definitely run those Big 5 labs, but check out those podcasts for all those specific details. All right, that is our time here today, but we'll be back tomorrow with another Cabral House Call answering our community's questions. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. You know it means the world to me. I truly appreciate your support. And that is why I want to make sure that you are joining me and thousands of other people like you June 21st. We're kicking off our functional medicine summer detox and style together. We'll be with you every step of the way to support you, and I will be doing this myself. This is truly one of the highlights of our year, being able to go through our quarterly functional medicine detoxes as a community. Always so many people participate, and there'll be thousands of other people just like you looking to take their health to the next level, maybe lose some of that stubborn body fat, and also live longer, stronger. So to have you join our great functional medicine detox, we would love to give you our best offer to date, which is buying 3 functional medicine detox or a 21-day detox, same thing, and getting 1 free. This is literally a $100 value. Now, it would be amazing for you to get 2 or 3 of your friends together, family members, and have you all join together. And if you do that and you split the cost, it's just $65 per person. I mean, that is for all of your food for 2 days, which are your 4 shakes each day, all of your breakfast for the rest of the time, and a mid-afternoon snack. It would literally cost more to actually eat foods on those days. So this is all that to say is there is no reason why you wouldn't want to join this amazing global functional medicine detox. The results speak for themselves. It's literally guaranteed to work for you, and I would love to have you with the community. If you've never heard about a functional medicine detox and all of the different benefits, you can tune in to that detox at equi.life, that's equi.life/detox. All the details will be there. And again, it's $100 savings right now. So whether you save this detox, the free one for yourself for the future, or you want to give it to a family member to have them join in with you because you've already experienced the results, that choice is yours. While supplies last, jump on in at equi.life. Take care, everyone. Always let us know if you have any questions.